peace of mind when this old world seems to get me down.
All right, everybody, as advertised, we have former Senator Elbert Guillory that's running for Lieutenant Governor here in the state of Louisiana. Mr. Elbert Guillory, how you doing, sir? Welcome, hope many times to the Cajun Conservative Show.
It's a real pleasure to be here with you. My son and I are both great fans of yours. He is a real wild fan of yours.
Hey, I'm excited to hear that. Getting into this line of work, Mr. Guillory, I knew that we would possibly make some enemies. You get what I'm saying, with the left and stuff. But I love hanging out with my representatives or the people that want to serve us. And just to sit down, this is a unique opportunity I never thought I would have. So, you saying that, I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate you coming on today. It's a real blessing.
It's a pleasure to be here with you and your audience.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Mr. Guillory, you was a state senator for a little while. You served the people, but you decided to run for lieutenant governor. Can I ask why you decided to run for lieutenant governor at this time?
We need a louder voice. I don't need a job, and I don't need a career. I'm at that stage in my life where I've been practicing law for more than 50 years. So I'm not looking for a stepping stone. All I want is the opportunity to serve. And I don't think I need a lot of opportunity to serve, just 4 years. The lieutenant governor's office has a loud voice, and the past lieutenant governor has done a really good job of selling Louisiana. I have experience in tourism, so I can help sell Louisiana. But I also want to have a legislative staff. Because of my many years in the legislature, I can identify problems and create legislative solutions to those problems. That's really what my real goal is.
And you bringing that up, the state of Louisiana, the lieutenant governor's position isn't really like a lot of people would think. Like you said, our current lieutenant governor has done a good job with tourism.
Yes,
he has brought it in. But some might look at him as a rhino. Some might look at him as he compromised. As a lieutenant governor, will you be able to go ahead and, as you talked about, do legislative things with governor, if that's a Democrat governor or Jeff Langer or anyone else that is in that position?
Absolutely. There's nothing, and I've had 3 lawyers take a look at the legislation that creates the office of the lieutenant governor. There's nothing that will prevent me from doing the things that I want to do legislatively. So I'm going to have a legislative staff. I'm going to identify problems, create solutions, and then I'll sell those legislative solutions not only to the state legislature, but to the people of Louisiana. I want to come to the people and say, look, we have a problem with crime. These are the 2 things that I think we should do. There are other things that need to be done, but at least these 2 things need to be done.
So now one of your big questions would be, Billy Nungesser has decided he's going to run for another term. He has, he said he was going to run for governor. Some things happened. He decided not to do that. How does that look for the LA GOP? Because, when I first met you, Billy wasn't running. Like I said, I believe Billy had every intention of running for governor. Now he had some beef with the LA GOP. He had some issues that have come up. But how does that look for your race in going into this 2023 season? Because, I don't know, did you expect Billy to run? And, how did that change your game plan since he has announced he's running for another term in that position?
I'm an old Navy man. Darn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. I've been on this course for at least 9 months. Since last spring, the spring of 22, I've been running for lieutenant governor. Now, other people have made other decisions in their lives. That will be on them. I have been on this course. I will continue on this course. And like I said, darn the torpedoes. I'm full speed ahead.
Also, thank you for your service to the military.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Guillory, let's go ahead and talk about policies here in Louisiana. And look, we had Mr. Chad here, we had Mr. Alan Seaball here, and I have other candidates lined up for our state representatives, our Senate, and all this good stuff. And I always ask this question: Louisiana, unfortunately, is infected by rhinos. It's infected with people that care, in my opinion, care about their well-being instead of the well-being of this state. And I have friends from Texas, Arizona, Carolina. I've been on podcasts where they say, Isaac, you live in a red state, one of the purest red states, but you have a blue governor. How does that happen? And I always describe this, Mr. Guillory, as a purple state inward. Nationally, we're red, but inward, in our state legislature, we're purple because we have true blue Democrats. We have red hot Republicans, but we have them Republicans that make us purple. Them Republicans that say, well, we're going to do something, but when it comes down to the legislation, they change everything around. What is your goal? Because you mentioned that there's a lieutenant governor, you want a legislative branch. What do you want to change in this state? Because we need to change. We need to do something different. Because the state we're in right now, we're last in education. Let's just say it like this. It's probably easy to say this. We're last almost on everything on the list
Except crime.
except crime. Yeah. Well, thanks to the Lord, the Destroyer in New Orleans. But how do we turn the state around? How do we go ahead and change our course? Because you said you're a Navy man and you got to stay the course, but this course is leading us to a waterfall.
One of our biggest problems is that rhino problem that you mentioned. We have a majority in the state legislature. We could pass legislation over, and if a blue governor vetoed it, we could override the veto. We have the power in numbers to do this. We don't have the power in heart. Our biggest problem is that we do not have people who love God,
I agree with you,
who
yes, sir.
love America, and who love the American people. If we have godly people who are willing to stand up for America and stand up for God, we don't have a problem. So let's get rid of the rhinos, replace them with godly people, and the problem is over. We will pass the laws that are necessary to protect the people of Louisiana and to lift us from the bottom, as you so eloquently pointed out. I mean, we in education, in health, all kinds of things, we're at the bottom. We can come up.
We can come up. I think we can do better. And look, we have a good chance. We got some good conservatives lined up in this election, including yourself, that are going to go ahead and try to, do something different. Because, like I said, in the course we're on, Mr. Guillory, I'm scared. I'm scared for the nation. Don't get me wrong, but for the state itself, the way that we are, and I said this, I had this viewpoint. We almost lost another congressman. We have 7 right now. We almost came down to 6. People are leaving this state. People are. They don't want to be here. I think it was a poll a while back I heard on KPEL. They said that this is one of the worst states that people don't want to live in. That's scary. But we have Texas. We have Mississippi, out of all people. Mississippi beating us. We have Arkansas. And look, Arkansas is about to bloom. They got Sarah Huckabee Sanders over there and her lieutenant governor. They already got plans to do things and turn that state around. Alabama, Georgia, Florida. All these southern states are flourishing, especially Florida. But here in Louisiana, we have so much revenue. We have oil. And look, the seafood, the tourism. We have a nugget, but it's like they taking that nugget and they're just throwing it to the side, Mr. Guillory, and that's what's scaring me about this state.
You're absolutely right. I would add forestry.
Right, yeah.
To that also. We have natural resources. We should be on the top.
Yep.
We have some dodos in Washington, D.C. And I'm former Navy, so we could say some strong words. But I'm a Baptist preacher, so I can't use those words anymore.
You can't do that here. I'm a Pentecostal. So.
But those dodos in Washington, D.C. and their war on oil and gas is something that we have to stop at our borders. Louisiana has to say, we're an oil and gas state. We're going to produce oil and gas. We're going to pump oil and gas. And it doesn't matter what you say, Mr. White House dodo.
Right. Well, you put it lightly. I call him backwards Joe. But so, Mr. Gillory, let's talk about something right here, too, because you just talked about the White House. You're going to be part of a governor's mansion, hopefully with a Republican. Now, we got John, I think it's Stroder. We got Landry, and we got Miss Collins. That's good. That's all great people. We have some others that are announcing they are running, especially with Jeff. Like I said, I've never met Jeff, but what I know of Jeff, he's a pretty good conservative. And if he would get in there, but let's just say any Republican get in there, y'all would have to stand up to Biden. You get what I'm saying? And that's where I would like to ask your question on. And I know you can't answer for Jeff or you can't answer for the other candidates, but if the governor will come and say, look, President Biden asked us to do something and it's against the oil field or it's against natural resources or it's something that goes against the core values of you have, what would you tell that governor about, how would you handle that situation? Because like you said, you saying it mildly, dodo in Washington, but like I said, I call him backwards Joe, but President Biden ain't a friend of us, unfortunately. So as a lieutenant governor, what would you advise that governor, if you don't mind me asking that question, what would you advise our next governor to do in those situations?
I'll be his backbone. I will advise him to let the president know that in Louisiana, we are going to pump. You can't stop us from pumping here. We're going to export. We're going to do everything that we can with oil and gas to lift that industry up. And with respect to anything where his policies are destructive to the people of Louisiana, illegal immigration, for example, they take busloads and plane loads of illegal immigrants and dump them in Louisiana on our taxpayers. Illegal immigration costs America $1 trillion a year. A year, every year. And much of that comes from the people of the taxpayers of Louisiana when the illegals are dumped into our state. I'm going to stand up and say, no, you can't drop anybody who's illegal in the state. We have enough problems. We got to take care of our veterans. We got to take care of our elderly. We have to take care of our homeless people. First, Americans first.
So you're going with the mindset of America first, and going into this office. If you would win, it's America first, and that's it.
That's it.
And that's the right mindset to have, because unfortunately, politicians here in Louisiana, politicians nationally, it's not America first. It's America second. And that, as a veteran, that should infuriate. Just not you, but every veteran out there, because you fought for us Americans to have freedom and to make us the greatest nation in the world. And we have politicians like, oh no, we're going to care about Ukraine, we're going to care about Russia, we're going to care, and that shouldn't happen.
Absolutely not. We can afford to dump $500 billion in Ukraine this year. $500 billion in Ukraine. But we can't take care of a veteran. And I talked to a veteran yesterday who had a big problem in health care. She fell, she injured she broke her wrist. And it was months before she could get an appointment. And her wrist healed so that it is not usable anymore. It's twisted. That's unacceptable. We treat illegal immigrants in this country better than we treat the people who fought for this country. And it gets me a little...
It gets you a little upset.
A little upset, yes.
So, Mr. Gillory, before we roll out, because we have a few more minutes left, and I always ask this of Christian politicians. A lot of people, and I've been told this on this side of the mic, where I'm a political pundit. I give my opinions. I'd say it like it is. You get what I'm saying? And they tell me, well, Isaac, you shouldn't get into politics. A Christian shouldn't be involved in politics. They should, worry about winning souls. I understand it's important. As a minister to minister, that is important. But you're an associate pastor, and you're running for office. What do you tell people that come against, oh, you're a pastor, you should worry more about the church, you shouldn't worry about politics, you should worry more about people? What do you tell people that? Because in my opinion, I think, as you said, we need to have more men and women of God standing in the halls of Congress.
The Bible sets out the model for proper government. It says that government should be like Aaron and Moses, a shepherd. And a shepherd takes care of its sheep. And that means protecting its sheep from things like crazy federal spending, dumping all of our money into foreign lands and driving our own nation into bankruptcy, not taking care of our veterans, as we were saying a moment ago. The godly message, whether it comes from the pulpit or the halls of Congress, is a godly message. Killing little babies is wrong. I mean, abortion is wrong, whether you say it from the pulpit or say it from the halls of Congress. It's the same message.
So do you believe that more Christians should get involved with the politics, especially running for them offices? I always said it like this in my view. The devil got his people there. Why can't we get, our people in there?
I absolutely agree. We need to have, desperately, godly people in government.
So on the last note, as we get ready to wrap it up, where can people find you, Mr. Guillory? Where can they go ahead, and if they want to talk to you or contact your team to figure out, to hear a little bit more about you? Because, like I said, you got Billy Nungasser, he got a lot of money. You go up there, we got a lot of people that go on. How can we get people to start supporting you? If you
please contact us at YouTube, Elbert Guillory, Facebook, okay, Elbert Gullory, all of those internet kinds of things. You can contact us through the mailman. Send checks, please.
need some cash. So, but Mr. Guillory, it was glad to have you here today. This mic's always open if you ever need to come back on. I love having y'all guys here and visiting with us.
I deeply appreciate the opportunity to talk with you, to get to know you better, and to talk with your audience.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So with that being said, we want to thank Mr. Elbert Guillory for coming on. He is running for lieutenant governor here in the state of Louisiana. Please go ahead and check out his social media platforms. As we wrap this segment up, I want to thank y'all for listening to the Cajun Conservative Show. Remember, Jesus Christ is king, and he's coming back, and he's coming back soon. So don't be faint of heart, because Jesus has overcome the world. If you want to know Jesus as your Savior, please reach out to me at the Cajun Conservative Show on Facebook, and I'll tell you how to make Jesus your Savior and heaven your home. So until next time, be blessed, be encouraged. You have a good one.